one of these BYOB things.
Nick, what's tonight's beer?
Tonight's beer is welcome to Beer Analysis 101 with your host Maxwell Starr and also Greg, that asshole. Yeah, we're off to a great start here so far. We're gonna talk about milk beers tonight. Cowabunga, dude. Gonna do lactose beer, anything with milk sugar added to it, such as like milk stouts or milkshake IPAs, or even off the wall strange brews like milkshake barley wines, or so just anything with milk sugar added, which tends to sweeten up the beer a little bit without adding more alcohol or calories or not. Anyway, whatever. I know we have one person at least on this panel that's going to really appreciate tonight because he's always sent me lactose beers.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's go down to who we have with us tonight, starting with Mr. Ashley Sexton of Sexton Brewing Co. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, thank you. Hope you're doing great. Hope everyone is happy and healthy.
Somewhat.
All that fun shit.
Happy and COVID-free.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what I'm drinking now?
Yeah, sure. What are you drinking now?
So, one of our esteemed members of the panel.
Esteemed or esteemed?
Esteed.
Esteed?
Either or.
Whichever.
I'm waiting.
Either or.
I'm getting praise right now. I'd be called an asshole later on, I'm sure.
Whichever way you want to call it.
All right.
Whatever. So West Coast Nick was fantastic enough to send me out a beer mail of knowing how much I love lactose and adjuncts and all that fun stuff, and sent me off a beautiful package of a bunch of beers from New Level Brewing. And what I bring today is Hybrid Moments from New Level Brewing. This is a milkshake barley wine, 14%, in a nice sessionable size.
Nice.
So thank you so much, Dan. Greatly appreciated. And let's give her.
All I can say is yikes.
Let's give her. If this thing explodes on me, Dan, like.
If it explodes on you, we're live, so I get to. There's going to be some gifts rolling around somewhere.
Oh no, it's good.
It's nice. Good. All right, Greg. Hi, Greg. How you doing tonight?
Hi, Nick, I am doing great. I'm between Ashley Sexton and Dan. I'm like the middle of a human centipede. You know, Ashley Sexton will set him up. I'll knock him down. Dan gets the sloppy seconds. Great night. Now, you're probably wondering, what is Greg drinking tonight? Did Dan send Greg something?
What? No.
Oh, Dan doesn't fucking send Greg anything. So instead, Greg had to scavenge himself in Toronto, and I actually was able to pick something up that's a little bit unique that I've never had before. I put it in order to Left Field Brewing, and I picked up their Rally Cap, their pale ale with lactose.
Lactose pale ale.
Lactose pale ale. It's probably terrible, but I got a 4-pack for $8.50, so whatever.
Wow.
So there we go.
At least it was cheap.
Wait, how much was it?
It was $8.50 for 4 of them.
What?
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, so that's what I figured. I mean, it's basically the cost of like 2 milk stouts, so it's like whatever. It's sessionable.
Yep, that's definitely sessionable.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move along to Mr. Lactose himself, the Santa Claus of lactose beers.
Now the Krampus. Come on.
The Krampus? Cramps. Yeah, putting the cramps in Krampus.
So
anyway,
I'm looking over here. I've got 2 choices. So I was actually gonna leave it up to myself to choose, but I could be up there with Ashley if you want, or I can go with an 8.5. So should I do a 14%? Yes? Fine. I'm going to choose from Outcast Brewing, Ups and Downs.
Ooh.
It is a first anniversary Imperial Stout with hazelnut and vanilla.
Holy crap.
And it's an extra strong beer, and it contains nuts and lactose. So there is lactose in here. And it's coming in at a very sessionable, as Ashley says, 14% alcohol by volume. Now, a little fun story about this one is that Outcast said that they produced the strongest beer in Alberta this year. Well, Ashley, that's not true, obviously, because you have another one that's the same ABV.
Yeah.
So they were tied.
Bunch of liars. Wow, that's a lot I had for a 14% beer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a lot ahead. Hopefully it's okay.
It's outcast.
So-
It's gonna
I'm
be
sorry.
okay.
What's in it again?
What's in it again?
There's hazelnut and lactose.
Hazelnut.
Yes. Or it's a
Oh.
imperial stout with hazelnut and vanilla.
Well,
Oh,
it'll be
yeah.
all right.
It's all
It'll be all right.
It has
Alrighty.
been sitting out on my desk for a bit, so we'll find out.
Jesus. All right, let's get back over to me and introduce the beer that I am drinking tonight, which is, by the way, I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I like my new light setup behind me. It's pretty
I like it.
pretty trailer parky. Anyway, I'm going to drink something from Three Flip Brewing out of Fredericton, New Brunswick. This is their Sassy Cow Root Beer Milk Stout. Kind of an interesting combination of flavors. Only 5% ABV, but it's all you need. It's all the lactose I need, to be honest. All right. Oh, let's bring it back to the panel, all four of us.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is entertaining.
Oh,
So-
actually.
You have a comment from Jamie saying, "Hi, Nick." Hi, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, how come you're not on the chat? You can't get a lactose beer?
Yeah,
Come on, everyone
yeah,
gets lactose beer.
Jamie.
All you do, you just get a regular beer, get your favorite female friend to lactate in it a little bit, and there you go, you got a lactose beer.
Jesus Christ, Greg.
Nick, that's how the sausage is made.
Jamie's got a beer. Do.
So, Dan, have you had this barley wine?
Yes, I have.
Gotcha.
All right.
I have. I've had one of them, and yeah. Remember how I said it was dangerous?
Very dangerous beer.
Some weirdness going on in this.
I didn't say it was.
What did you expect, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean, come on, milkshake barley wine. That's not something you ever have heard of before. At least I know I haven't.
And I love I went to Untapped and I brought it up and I was hoping under details they would have had a little bit more info on it, and their details are literally milkshake barley wine. That's all they wrote. Milkshake barley wine. I'm like, woo! Awesome job, guys.
Very descriptive.
Like fucking wordsmiths over there.
Mm.
Well, you know,
fucking-
you got to keep pumping these things out. So I mean, like,
Mm.
Do they have a website? I'm
yes,
assuming
they
so.
do.
Probably do. I'll let him look up that website quickly so we can move on to the next phase of questioning on this whole BYOB thing. I take it he's open. Are you open the website, or?
No, I'm just on my phone.
He's on his phone looking at the website, I guess.
Because you're next, and I imagine we already know your history with this beer, but
Yeah.
Yes.
you might as well tell you. And we already know who you got it from, but you might as well repeat for the sake of repeating.
Yeah, no, it's again, this beer along with a few others came courtesy of Dan from New Level Brewing, and I think Dan was well. So first off, I mean, I like adjuncts, and it's not to get me wrong, I do, and I enjoy adding stuff to beer, but where I draw the line is when a lot of these craft brewers will just throw the kitchen sink in there, and they'll have this and that, and they'll muddle a beer, what's supposed to be a beer, with like 6 or 7 different ingredients that don't really go together. So anyways, but I mean, everything that Dan sent me was just a few adjuncts. So it's like,
I kept it to a minimum.
exactly right. So yeah, so I've personally never had a milkshake barley wine. And nor have I had anything from New Level Brewing at all, since they're based out of Calgary, and I live on the other side of Canada. So yeah, I've no experience with this, no experience with the style, or this brewery. No, that's all I got.
Thanks. All right, let's go over to Greg. Greg, hi.
I've got a little bit of experience with this brewery, and looking at my check, I think that I probably had their stuff from the Albino Rhino Fest, because those seem to be where my check-ins are, and there's very few. I've definitely never had this beer before. They're Valley Cap. I mean, I did have one of their single hop pale ales yesterday, and I've had your Imperial Stout, their Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout, and I'm in the middle of drinking their Mexican Chocolate Stout. I'm not sure if that one's barrel aged or not. I'd have to look at the can. Nope, all of them fantastic. Very impressed. Otherwise, their beers are a little like that. Kind of meh. It's okay. It's not great, not terrible. But their Imperial Stouts are very good. Buy those. They're not that expensive.
All right. And of course, we go over to Dan. I'm pretty sure you've had a number of beers from Outcast.
Yeah, maybe a few. Now, the brewer loves to do his pastry stouts. He loves his pastry stouts. He loves his hazy boys. So having this, he likes his high ABV. He's invited me over a couple of times a while ago for high ABV stuff, and it wasn't bad. Like, it was, he knew what he was looking at. He got some really interesting and unique beers and trades, and now he's making his own, so he can be part of that clique, maybe. But he does a really good job at making these beers. So having a first anniversary beer that's 14% ABV, it's a good start for him. I mean, it's not a bad brewery overall, and he knows his shit. So yeah, I've had a big history with him.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. And go over to me finally. Three Flip. My experience with Three Flip. These guys only emerged onto the scene last year. 2019 even says like their little beer history on it, which cool fun fact. If I can get that the focus. It actually says the brewer's one of the founders' names is Nick.
Oh, wow.
Woo. Anyway, so yeah, Three Flip Brewing out of Farrington, New Brunswick was founded last year. I remember trying, I think, this beer and this beer only from this brewery at the 2019 St. John Beer Fest. And I remember thinking it was interesting, but, well, I don't want to get too many spoilers about tonight. So, it was interesting to try enough again, because I mean, the combination just seems a little odd as much as it sounds interesting. The root beer, milk stout. Okay.
It's like a float, like a root beer float.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, isn't it? Like, it's more like a root beer float.
Right. The sarsaparilla.
With chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
But I won't give any spoilers about how it tastes. Just they have other beers. They have one beer called Lemon Kilmster with a picture like Lemmy from Motorhead, but it's kind of looks like a lemon instead.
Oh my god!
It's like a lemon, some kind of lemon beer. I'll have to bring up a picture of it. And I think I got one more in the liquor stores that I just there's just so many different beers that I just haven't gone back to these guys. But I guess it was mainly my first experience with this one did really wow me. So I suppose it's the whole lactose beer thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the quadrant and read some comments.
The quadrant.
Do you want to read them, Ash? Or
yeah, I think there's a few there. Oh yeah, Greg says hi, Jamie. Is the mustache still alive? And then he replies, the mustache is gone.
No!
But I can make another one in a few days if you really want it back. And then, yeah, Greg, that's disgusting.
That just means that Greg wants a mustache, right?
Grow a mustache down there.
Well, you know how you turn the schlong into Hubert from Family Guy. That's basically what I want Jamie to do.
Yeah.
Get tattooed and everything.
That's weird, man.
Greg's going to get a tattoo of Jamie and his mustache.
If anyone out there, I think we've all.
He might actually help him get laid more from Agnes.
Jesus, Nick.
Yeah, sorry, that was really bad.
Hi,
6 viewers.
If anyone out there hasn't donated, and I believe everyone in this chat has, but if like one or two members in the audience want to donate, I think Jamie still has his November up. So
yeah, if you still have a November page up, share it in the chat. There, Jamie. You've already done the work. Anyway, so
Greg,
Jesus
So-
segment. Arnold.
No, that wasn't Arnold.
no, that was my kids.
Oh, it was your kids stomping around.
Yeah, I'm
Usually
I'm right above where they all run around and shit. So it's like that noise just comes straight down.
It's like a caveat of starting early, huh?
Now, Greg, were you saying in your intro that you haven't had too many beers from left field?
I have not had too many beers from left field. It's
No, eh?
They're around. I've just never really drank their shit. Like I think I maybe I looked at my Untappd quickly. I think maybe I had one beer that they had at the LCBO, and then I think I had a few things from Chad's Fest, and that's pretty much all I've had from them.
Yeah.
Because they're on the east end of the city. I don't want to go to the east end of the city. It's like 20-minute drive.
Gotcha. Yeah. Their laser show's good. I think my major complaint with them is just that they it's just way overpriced for what it is. Except for obviously this 4-pack of pale ale that you got 4 for $8, which is just
I find the prices to be more or less reasonable, but my only annoyance is that they only sell their shit in 4-packs for the most part. They won't sell you a single can.
yeah.
Which is annoying. But in this case, right now they have a Christmas 6-pack going where you get 6 of their beers plus, like, I think they overprice it, but then $2 goes to charity, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can get their stout pack. Again, their stouts come in 4-packs as well, and their stouts are very good. They're actually worth buying the 4-pack. But if you just want to try one of each, they have like a 3-pack of the stouts, that like one of each, so you can just go that way as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of those beers. Like, you know, it's funny. There's about 8 breweries right in that area, literally within 5 minutes of each other. And my wife went to go pick up a whole bunch of shit for me there a few weeks ago, and I didn't go for any left field stuff because of I got annoyed by the 8-pack thing. So I said, no, I'm going to go for the other breweries that'll sell me singles and stuff like that. And plus, my wife didn't go to 8 breweries; she went to 4, which was already very nice of her. Yeah, so it's one of those breweries that just they just kind of fall under my radar. And then this time I was like, oh, I want to try their stout, and I need a lactose pale ale. So
There we go.
or I need something with lactose. Otherwise, I was just going to go get a Reinhardt stout, milk stout. But I don't know, it's kind of boring. I've had that before. At least now I'm trying something new. So
Something new. Yeah.
Mm.
Now,
All right.
Dan. Oh, sorry, Nick. You're gonna.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was curious because I know what the pricing is of what Greg stuff is having. What's the pricing of like New Level out where you are for something like? Well, I mean, maybe what their average drink is, and then I mean, this is obviously not their average drink, so.
No, it's not their average drink. So that what you're holding in your hands is $10 a can.
That's it.
So, but I mean,
Yeah.
14%.
that doesn't sound unreasonable.
No, it doesn't. Considering the one that I got from Outcast a while ago was that one with the wax bottom on it, and that was $22 for that can. It was only 11.5%.
Oh wow.
But their other stuff, it ranges between $16 and $20 a 4-pack.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Gotcha. $4 to $5 for a king can.
Yeah. So I mean that's it works out to be because I mean their Session Wolf Session IPA is $16, whereas Seasoned in the Abyss Born of Fire Barrel Aged Saison is $25
Gotcha.
for 4-packs. So
And that's pretty much in line with what you see over there, Nick. That like pricing like that is very similar to what you have at what's that brewery that you always go to? Trailway. Like 20 packs for a 4-pack, or $20 for a 4-pack.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah.
Low brewery.
Yeah, like Trailway would be like $18 a 4-pack. Or depending on whether you get the regular IPAs or the Imperials.
Doubles and triples, yeah.
Or if you go to the brewery and you buy them, they might give you $2 off of a 4-pack. And if you go to the NB liquor store, then they'll fuck you.
Yeah.
Whoa!
They will fuck you.
All right. Like speaking of which, let's go to Ashley. What's your thoughts on the beer you're drinking?
I'm still working through it a little bit.
Do you want more time?
No, not necessarily. So I had this one sitting out. This has all been refrigerated, obviously, but I let it sit out. When did I get home? Like 20 to 7. So it was sitting out for about almost an hour and a half by the time we got going. So it's actually warmed up to what I would probably consider to be a proper temperature for this beer. On the nose, you get, so it is a barley wine, so you do get like that figgy sweetness, that caramelly, that butterscotch, all of those like soft squishy things that go into a fruitcake. And then but you also get like a pretty heavy alcohol hit, obviously because it's a little bit warmer now. If this was served a little more chilled, then something like that would be discernible, not so much on the aroma at least. So surprisingly, this isn't as heavy and thick as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really syrupy. And it's not to say that this is thin by any stretch of the imagination. It's like medium high, sort of like medium high when it comes to body. And you get that sweetness right off the bat. This is a very, very sweet beer. There's a lot of unfermentables in here. Now, it's very sweet up front. You definitely get that. You know it's lactose. It's not like you're mistaking it for some other sort of sweetness like malt driven or anything like that. It is very obvious lactose. And there's something with the lactose on the finish. It gives me this weird off flavor. I haven't had it in all beers that I've had with lactose, but just some of them. And maybe it's just because it's lactose in a 14% beer where, there's already a lot going on, I guess. But the lactose is very aggressive on this one. They used it very freely. Bittering is there. It's not like super bittered like an American barley wine. I would sort of put this akin to a little bit more like an English barley wine. It's definitely on the sweeter side, sort of more of a muddled, earthy bitterness to it. But it has this, and I don't know again if it's the lactose or maybe if it's just the bittering hops. There's like a bittering right at the end. It doesn't taste off, but it just tastes out of place. I don't know. It's hard.
Is it like an astringent kind of artificial kind of thing going on? Bitter.
It's almost like an acidic type bitterness to it, and I wonder if it's just like the lactose hanging on the palate. You know what I mean? Like just sort of. Anyways, very much a sipper. You actually don't get any burn, like no alcohol burn on the sip whatsoever. So whether or not it's the malts or all the lactose, it definitely hides the alcohol pretty well on the sip. So yeah, if this was a base barley wine. If there wasn't any lactose in it, then it would be fusel alcohol all over the place. I think the lactose definitely tempers it down a little bit. It's probably more enjoyable in this state than it would be just as like a base, like the regular barley wine. So I'm not going to rate this for a style because really in milkshake barley wine doesn't really exist, so to speak. It's like weird one-offs. But for overall enjoyment, it's a little off balanced. There's the lactose is a touch too heavy for me, and then just that lingering sort of weird acidic bitterness on the back end. So I'm going to give this. I'm going to finish this. I would probably share this again with someone, maybe. So I'll give it a 6.75. That's what I'll go with.
Cool.
Cheers, right. Dan. Thank you for this one. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a little different, so I figured you might enjoy a little bit of a challenge.
A challenge? Yeah, absolutely, man. A lot going on in that one.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm glad somebody is drinking that kind of beer because it just seemed really weird and interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised. It's cloyingly
sweet. It's fun. Yeah, it's really sweet, but it's fun.
All right. Let's move over to Mr. Greg. How's your beer doing?
It's literally copy what Ashley said. We have different beers. But
Copy Ashley's notes.
Mine's also 14%, and I'd probably have it again. Thanks, Dan, for sending it to me. A lot of lactose sweetness, blah blah blah.
Okay, I'm getting the guilt trip here, dude. I'm getting the guilt trip. Don't worry, you're next on my hit list.
You mean shit list?
Hey, listen, Dan, I've got a lot of double tempest that I need to send out to people. So give me a reason.
Go ahead, make my day.
Go ahead.
Challenge accepted.
But here we are. This is actually pretty good. Again, you get the lactose sweetness, as Ashley, trademark Sexton, has said. But the sweetness actually works really well because this is a very, very fruity, very fruit salad, mango, passion fruit, clementine, all that bullshit. But whereas most of these kind of pale ales, they tend to be a little bit on the bitter side, which somewhat takes away from the fruit salad, which is good. But this one actually works really well. The sweetness works really well with it. It's almost like that beer I make fun of Redbeard for that was just alcoholic 5 Alive. This isn't quite what happened. Do I have an echo? I think I may have had the volume up. No, I think I had the volume up slightly on my iPad, so it was driving me crazy. I could hear myself talking. I don't want to do that. So this works well. The lactose, it works well with it. Have I ever had a lactose pale ale before? I don't know if I have. So therefore, by default, this has to be a 10 out of 10 for style because I've never had one, and therefore this is the best lactose pale ale I've ever had. That's one.
Damn.
In terms of enjoyment, I actually am quite enjoying this, and I'm not upset, especially based on the price point. I'm not upset that I have 4 of them, and if I should drink all 4 tonight like a good boy. So it's I'm going to be a little on the generous side. I was going to go 75. You know what? I'm quite enjoying this. I quite enjoy the price. Their delivery service is very good. My wife missed the delivery, and they actually came back a few hours later to deliver it. So because of that, you get a little extra half point. 8 out of 10.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Greg. Awesome.
Recommended, especially for $8.50 a 4-pack. I mean, even if it's a ship beer, that's a cheap price. So
yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's well worth it. All right, let's move over to Mr. Lactose himself.
Yeah, I didn't get this belly by being good. So
I hear you there.
Just to let Ashley know, he was trying to find some more information about the hybrid moments. They did post something September 1st saying, a year ago we brewed a barley wine and totally forgot about it. So now we have a nicely aged barley wine on tap. We'll have single cans available at the end of the week. So yeah, it's been aged as well. So just to give you a heads up on that too. Anyways, with my beer, what I've got now, I'm kind of enjoying this. Like you saw at the very beginning, it foamed up. It was pretty foamy. I just poured the can in, and it looked like it was a little muddy in there. So I think there might have been a lot of sediment at the bottom, which is totally fair. Now, the nose comes off a little sweet. I'm not really getting a hazelnut per se. I am kind of getting like the lactose sugar and something else, and it's really sort of muted for the smell, which you think with something like this you would have hazelnut, vanilla, you'd have all these beautiful aromas flying at your nose, but it's a little muted. The flavor itself, you have that medium body. And the weird thing is I'm getting sort of a spice off of there, like a cinnamon in a way, which is odd for they have no cinnamon in there. But it's got sort of like a weird cinnamon sort of taste to it. I'm not really getting a major. Watching the chat over there, I got to stop that. Mm-hmm. I'm not really getting a big hazelnut sort of creaminess to it or anything else like that. I'm not really getting a very big lactose. I'm not really getting a vanilla flavor. It's all kind of muddled in there in one great big, I don't know, liquid glass. The alcohol is very well masked. At a 14%, usually you would get some sort of burn going down the throat. I'm getting a small burn, but not much. So for the style and the enjoyment, I kind of, I kind of want to say 7 because I am kind of enjoying it, but it's not what I would expect or look for in something that actually says hazelnut vanilla imperial stout. Now I can't remember if this was barrel aged or not either. I can't remember. It doesn't say it is. So now overall, I give it an 8 out of 10 because that is nice and masked. So yeah, overall that's where we're at with this one.
Nice. All right, thank you, Dan.
No worries.
I figured that being lactose beers and all that, this would be like your element, which it sounds like it is.
A little bit, but I'm just this one is kind of. I should have opened the other one because I think I probably would have had a better time with that one.
It sounds like you had a good time with this one, anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I did. And just the other one probably would have been solid, bang on solid. It's brewery. It's the brewery. I mean, come on. If you've never had the brewery, you need to have the brewery.
I've had some. Anyway. All right. Moving along to beer that I have. Sassy Cow from Three Flip Brewing in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So the story on this one here, I'm getting sarsaparilla and vanilla on the palates. It's definitely got the milk chocolate notes there. It kind of reminds me of like somebody taking chocolate milk and mixing it with dad's root beer. But there's a strong earthy licorice bitterness that's up the middle with a sharp, lingering, almost like licorice-like artificial sweetener kind of lactose note, which I think is similar to what Ashley was getting out of his barley wine. Just telling me like there's just too much lactose in this kind of thing. It's just it's too much of a lactose thing, I guess. The big thing with this is that sure, if they're going for a root beer float with this kind of beer, the flavors are there, but the proportions are way off, and I'm just getting this very strong, astringent lactose artificial note out of this thing that's really kind of like putting me off. I mean, not that it's a bad beer and all. It's actually quite decent, but it's got that kind of weird, almost sour, earthy licorice bitterness that how do you describe it? Like a tannic kind of taste, like when that flavor's just too strong, like the really, really roasted coffee kind of thing going on. I don't know. It's a weird beer. It's just there's a flavor they're just really not doing it for me. So I think for a milk stout, it's fine. It's an interesting beer to try, but it wouldn't be something I would gravitate to. At least the price is good. I think these are $3.35 a can, which is pretty cheap for New Brunswick prices, I guess. But so I'm going to give it a 7 for the style, considering the milk stout is a legit style. But for overall enjoyment, it's just getting a 6.5. And that's my story.
And you're milking.
I'm milking this story.
Nick, you are a cruel mistress.
I'm utterly
oh my
flabbergasted.
Are we going to be moving on?
I'm totally moved by your.
Let's move on to greener pastures, guys.
Whackity smack it. No, it's not even worth it.
You're strawing it about there.
You're really grazing at this one.
Hey, Jamie says we should go to lemonparty.org to donate.
This is getting utterly out of hand.
Utterly despicable is what I'm hearing. No, this whole conversation stinks of manure. So, yeah. Lisa says, "Have a good night, you pricks." Totally understand that.
I'm assuming you got to work.
Yeah, as soon as he heard whackity schmackity do and it didn't deserve it, he probably tuned out. So
Yeah.
we're just being totally honest with Lee here.
Listen, Lee's a very passionate man.
Yeah. Well. All right. So I guess we'll do the whole round table again and just say, Ashley, which of all the beers that you saw being drank tonight, which one interests you the most? Which one did you like to try?
Yeah.
Probably Greg's.
Yeah.
I'll go with Greg's.
All right. Really no debate.
It just sounded like they used the lactose properly in that. That's all.
All right, let's go over to Mr. Greg. Of all the beers you heard tonight, which one would you like to try?
Either Ashley or Dan's, both 14%, both probably fantastic. It's a toss-up. Flip a coin. I'll try either one. More alcohol equals better.
In other words, bring both of them to Greg. Okay, got it.
I will session those mothers.
He'll hoop them for sure.
There'll be some hooping.
Make sure they're not live on any YouTube channels at that point in time.
He's not gonna warn us. He's just gonna do it. Alrighty. So, Milkmaster Dan.
Well, strangely enough, of all the
wanna
beers, I want to try Greg's because I have never tried a style like that before. That sounds interesting. I've never heard of a style like that. Of course, I never heard of a milkshake barley wine until 3 months ago. So I mean, it's nice to see that there's different styles coming out that aren't like the milkshake IPAs or the pastry stouts or anything else like that. Like it's something a little different. I would like to see how they use the lactose sugar in it. So yeah, Greg wins.
Yay!
Nice. Anyway,
feeding my ego.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to add to the gangbang here.
Yes.
I'm going to say that.
Wow.
Okay, I'm going to say that everybody's here is interesting. I really like to try that barley wine, just because I've never even heard of it, but it doesn't sound like something I would necessarily incredibly enjoy, especially at the price of $10. The one that Dan had is kind of sounds kind of cool too. I'm not really a crazy fan of a hazelnut, but the one that Greg's drinking, that actually sounds like a real sessionable beer, like a fruity pale ale with lactose added. You adding that just a little touch of sweetness, and the price of it sounds fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the price really is really a good kicker. It's like, it's hard to go wrong with this. Yeah, it's really quite enjoyable. Like the best way I can describe it is if you like kind of almost a New England style IPA, but you just don't like the bitterness, I think this would be the beer for you.
Yeah,
New England IPA, I guess New England Pale Ale, but whatever.
Well, I guess there you have the unanimous winner of tonight's Would You Rather Have contest. So everybody wants Greg's beer. You know what? There's 4 beers in that 4-pack.
Yes.
Now you have to share.
Just for this, Ashley, I'm going to put on some pit sips just for you.
Pit sips.
I love pit sips.
A warm jacket with pit sips, and he's going to pull another can of that beer out of his armpit.
I mean, I could do that.
You could do that.
It's an underrated feature on a jacket, especially when you're doing active work outside.
You're not wrong.
I only have one shell that actually has pit sips because the one that you've seen dancing is back to
Look at that pussy.
Oh. Oh, nice pussy, Dan. Dan's getting pussy tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let her eat the poinsettia.
It's not a poinsettia, it's fake. We had a poinsettia and we had to give it to our neighbors just because she would.
Yeah, cats are dumb like that.
Cats are dumb like that.
All right, so we're going to sit here and wait for the magic question, and there's no math to do tonight, especially considering that Greg won landslide victory here.
Yeah.
He got more votes than Trump did, so he...
Whoa.
Woo. I mean, the scary thing is...
like one of those slide whistles.
I mean, the scary thing is that Biden has more votes than any president in history, and Donald Trump has the second most votes
he's still
of any president in history. So,
well,
that tells you where America's at right now.
How divisive his presidency was, is that he ended up triggering such a big response from this for never uniting the country in the first place. It's just
Oh, he united the country. He just united the.
Yeah, united it against him or united it
Oh,
for
wow. And
Yeah,
the
that's
peanut
good.
gallery erupts with comments.
Oh.
WNWB, what's next week's beer? Recount 2020.
Fuck you. All right, next week's beer is we're going. Oh, and I'm gonna actually put myself full screen again.
Oh,
We're actually going to back to the milk stout, and we're gonna have the chocolate manifesto next week from the Flying Monkeys.
Oh shit! I should have done that. We could have done. I could have done 2 weeks in a row.
Well, you probably wouldn't have won this week's beer.
Yeah, but I know it is nice to be acknowledged for a week. Next week, you guys go back to hating me.
Mm.
Next
So
week,
yeah,
as soon as this episode's over.
I love this comment. I don't know who Postboy is, but that's awesome. Trump roll shit joints. Anyway, yeah. So next week you get to enjoy these bad boys, which is one is last year's bottle. I don't have this year's, but this year's just came out in cans of all things.
in cans.
In
I was
cans.
flabbergasted.
So this is a 2019 bottle. This is a 2014 bottle. So I'm going to be drinking a 6.5-year-old bottle of Chocolate Manifesto next week. And,
Paul probably has a 10-year-old one in his
well, yeah,
dungeon cellar.
only
Man,
because
it's still too young.
Or his broken down truck.
only because when that hooker succumbed to her injury, she fell on top of it.
Wow.
And now
Oh.
it's the chocolate manifesto that's
Jesus,
propping her dead
that's his-
body up.
That's his manifesto.
Apparently, it's the Chocolate Manifesto in cans is online. You can buy it for $21 for a 4-pack.
There we go.
It's
What's
more
happening?
expensive
Yeah.
than Sparkle Puff Triple IPA.
Well, yeah. Well, how
Yeah.
like Sparkle Puff is what?
10.4%.
10.4. It's actually technically stronger than this, isn't it? This is a 10.
10. Yeah.
It's a little stronger.
10. I don't know. It all comes down to which one they would shove all kinds of shit into because this uses like cocoa powder and lactose, and
Yeah, and
it's not barely.
Sparkle Puff uses a ridiculous amount of hops, and
That's true.
God knows what else to give it the chunky effect.
Chunky monkey.
Alrighty. So
They do everything in their power to not clear that beer. Anyways,
well, some people it's a good thing. Some people it's a hard pass. So there you go.
They do it
It's
for this
consistent.
stuff.
Oh. Alrighty. So I think that's tonight's episode. We know
Cheers.
what we're doing next week. I want to thank everybody for watching. We had Lee, we had Jamie, we had Paul, PA Brew News there, and Post Boy with the comment of the evening. And anybody else? Oh, Lee. Yeah, Lee was in there just very briefly calling us pricks and fuck you. So have a good night, folks.
What about female Lee? Was she in?
No, she wasn't.
no.
Sorry,
That's
Greg.
disappointing. And a lactose beer?
She might be, who knows? She might be. I'm not even going to go there.
No,
All right.
no.
Have a good night.